came from a very large brokerage company where you were literally doing nothing. You came here to Elite Real Estate, you plugged in, you're on your way to close in, looks like 20 homes this year alone.
That switch that I had came from really a transitioning point in my career, right? Where I had to go full-time on my real estate career. So it was either do real estate full-time or look for another 9 to 5. And I took that opportunity to go all in on my business. A lot of the things that I do are reels, and there's 60-minute videos of me providing information to the consumer in a way for them to grasp it and also use it so they can tell, hey, Fabian actually brought value and I was able to implement this.
So many people will watch and will never like, never leave a comment. It's wild how many people just window shop, I guess, you know? It's so important for real estate agents to really understand that the power really is in the consistency of it. What did you have to shift in regards to your mindset in order to get to the places you really wanted to be?
Yeah, that's a huge one because when I was starting.
Hey, welcome to the Elite Way podcast where we interview real estate agents operating their business the elite way. Today, we have one of my really good friends. He is one of our agents here at Elite Real Estate, Fabian Centeno. And he has grown his business so much this year, 2024, and I wanted to bring him on. First off, to celebrate him. You've crushed it this year.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
And secondly, to ask you what changed, what shifted. So before we get into that, how many years have you been an agent?
So I got my license back in 2021.
Okay.
So about 3 years.
Okay, 3 years. Okay,
Yep.
but in those years, you really weren't full time, right?
Yeah, I was part-time for 2.5 years.
Gotcha.
So never been full-time agent to the beginning of this year. So
Okay, gotcha. So you came from a very large brokerage company
yes.
where you were literally doing nothing,
Sadly.
and you came here to Elite Real Estate. You plugged in, and what shifted? So this year, you're on your way to close in. Looks like 20 homes this year alone. And so what happened that's really helped you go from really zero to hero? I mean, selling 20 homes, well over 6 figures, possibly multiple 6 figures. What was it in you and in your business that shifted everything?
Yeah, I think just going back to March, that switch that I had came from really a transitioning point in my career, right? Where I had to go full-time on my real estate career. So it was either do real estate full-time or look for another 9 to 5. And I took that opportunity to go all in on my business. And the importance of showing up and lead generating in an efficient way where I could leverage my open houses, my cold calls, showing up on social media, really influencing my sphere, right? It was a pivotal point that I took advantage of, right? Having the ability to go full time, and doing that really took my business to the next level.
Gotcha. Okay, so you used the phrase "going all in." Okay, what does going all in mean to you?
So to me, going all in from a personal standpoint is showing up every day. And what does that look like is being excellent on and striving to do the best I can every day for my clients, for my family, and those surrounding me. So having that mindset and really shifting my mind that going all in is my only option to succeed really pushed me to.
Gotcha. Okay, so at Elite Real Estate, we talk about, or we use the phrase a lot, your business rises and falls on your ability to lead generate.
Yep.
Right? I mean, and the truth is, even though we say it here, like it's a fact, like in this industry, if you do not lead generate, you are going to be a statistic where the National Association of Realtors, they say that 87% plus of agents can never make this a full-time career. Okay, so what's been your primary source of lead gen? What do you do in your business that allows you to generate leads?
Yeah, so just going back to that stat that you said, I recently read as well that over 47% of agents won't have a transaction this year, which is
Wow.
mind-blowing, right?
Over 47%?
Over 47%.
I mean, the market is challenging out there.
Yep.
Like, it's not easy right now.
Yep.
Agents are absolutely struggling mentally. And I believe even though we are in a time where there is access to a lot of information, a lot of agents still don't know what to do in their businesses.
Yep.
But anyway.
Yeah, no, go back to your question. I was part of that statistics, right? I was in lead generating as I was supposed to. I was waiting for business to come on my lap, right? I remember I made a post when I became an agent, just giving myself a shout out, like, hey, I'm an agent here to help you out, right?
Okay, hold on that. Okay, how hard is it having to announce yourself? Like, what's it feel like, really?
Oh yeah, I mean, you think that you're gonna get business right off the bat, right? And then you get hit with a wall of like crickets, like nobody's reaching out.
It was all like, all right, cool,
yeah.
yeah, you and everybody else, good luck.
Literally, and then you think your family's gonna use you, right? Because they're your family, but you haven't built that trust, and you haven't.
I love that.
You haven't proved yourself as the expert, right?
Absolutely.
So,
you haven't built the trust.
Yeah.
It's a good phrase right there.
But going back to lead generating, I think for me, the biggest one's been social media, and really promoting myself as a person that I can help others through their home buying process or selling, and really providing value every time I do post, right? It's not just a random post, right? Just making sure that they know that I'm that expert has really gained that trust for those on the other side that are watching me.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's visit the phrase you said about I hadn't yet built that trust. Okay, so how is it that you were able to build a trust that now literally you're about to help almost 20 families this year? I mean, that puts you easily in the top 2%, possibly 1%.
Yeah,
of agents?
It's crazy to hear once you say it. I think of those 2 years that I was doing it part time, I think I did maybe 4 transactions. And now that you mention that, it's like mind blowing. I kind of blew over my goals. Yeah.
Okay, so in 3 years, you did 4 transactions, but this year with Elite Real Estate, you're en route to 20 transactions.
Yeah, it's
insane.
Wild. Insane, yeah.
Okay, so you leverage social media a lot.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so what is it that you post? Is it like pictures, stories, reels, long form video, lives? What do you do on social?
Yeah, so a lot of the things that I do are reels, and there's 60-minute videos of me and providing information to the consumer. In a way for them to grasp it and also use it, right? So they can tell, hey, Fabian actually brought value, and I was able to implement this. For example, providing examples about homestead exemptions. How can you do that after you're a homeowner? And so on and so forth. So doing stuff like that. But also social media, stories. That one, sometimes people take it for granted, but a lot of people watch stories rather than their feed. And when you're constantly showing up as their, top 3 people that have posted, right? Yeah. They're always gonna click on your icon, and whatever you do post, they're gonna see. If it's a video about a home, if it's about information about the federal government cutting rates, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, so many agents are still so afraid to use social media, and so many of them are very, I would say, discouraged at the thought that they possibly have a small audience, and so that's kind of like why post? It's a small audience and so on. What would you say to an agent like that is either afraid, because They wear a lot of hair gel. They stutter like I do. Like, I mean, really, so many agents are so afraid to be on camera. Okay, what would you say to that agent that is just so afraid to be on camera?
I mean, you mentioned that, right? People that are scared about posting, and I think about myself when I was just starting. I honestly, it took me maybe like an hour to record a video.
An hour to record a
To
video.
record a 60-second video.
Wow.
You know how wild that is? And it's because I wasn't comfortable, and I still am. I still have a lot of room for growth, right?
Yeah.
But really challenging myself and posting every day really took me out of my comfort zone. And a lot of those videos that I did post, I never watched them. I was like, I'm not gonna
you
hear
just, like,
myself. I'm
record them, you post them, and
post
all right,
them.
I'm off.
That's it. Because if I think about it too much, I'm never gonna post them. Right? I'm always gonna look for that perfection, and it's never gonna come. So, I encourage people and agents to really post, even though it might not be your comfort zone. Still go ahead and post it because a lot of people are watching, even though you think you don't have that many followers. Social media is huge. So
That's true. Look at this. So many people will watch and will never like, will never leave a comment. Like, it's wild how many people just window shop, I guess,
Yep.
And so it's so important for real estate agents to really understand that the power really is in the consistency of it, I mean, you have to stay consistent with what you're doing. And then secondly, you have to get better at it.
Yeah.
Like, at first, it's going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to possibly scramble as to bringing real good value, making really good videos and so on. Okay, so with that said, how would you encourage the agent that is discouraged that they have a small audience, they don't get a lot of likes, a lot of comments, views possibly? What do you say to that?
Yeah. Going into that same train of thought, right? I used to think that by posting, I wasn't gonna get business, and it turned out to be my lead generating, like my niche, right? Where I was getting a lot of my clients from.
From Instagram,
Facebook,
TikTok
is a big one as well. Those have actually brought some ROI, right? Return on investment. And whenever you do post, you got to think about it as a numbers game, right? The more you post, the more you step on top of mind, the more people are going to consider you as their go-to, their expert, and eventually their agent.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you want to do. You want to close those deals. So I encourage people to post as many times as you can, and that'll get you comfortable in front of the camera.
Okay, so for agents that are like, okay, we know we have to post, we know we got to post. Okay, what posts for you have truly been fruitful? Like, what has worked? What is it? Is it like sharing stories about people you're helping out? Is it sharing videos of like house tours? Like, what videos do you feel that have been fruitful?
Yeah. So I think two different types of videos have been fruitful for me. And as you can imagine, a lot of them are, the house tours, right? Showing those extravagant houses, $1 million properties that people dream of having.
Yeah.
Brings them to your page. But the one that close most of my deals are the ones where I'm informing people. And
really?
It's my face
telling
them about how the market's doing, how they can buy a house, what do they need to do to improve their credit. All that information that does bring value is what's really closed the deal on
and it's so wild because you really see the opposite on social media. I mean, most agents are so afraid to talk about the market.
And all you do is just share information from another TikTok page, and you're giving the credit to the other TikTok page. Which
that's what they do, or they just show houses. Mm-hmm. Like, at some point, it's kind of like, all right, cool, you're showing houses, but what do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you going to help me with?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you an expert
Yeah.
in the field? Do you uh, um, uh, you know, research as to what's going on in the market and so on?
Yeah.
I think people want to be educated, and so many agents
Yeah.
are still so afraid to do that. Why do you think that is?
I think it's the fear of being called out.
Yeah,
I
like,
think
hey, no, it's not like that.
it's
Or
not
what?
like that, yeah. And I think there is a lot of information out there for people to rebuttal whatever you want, right? You can look up on Google how coffee can be bad for you or how it can be good for you.
That's true.
But ultimately, the more up to date you stay on the market and current on the housing market, real estate, all that, they'll really start to trust you because they do know that you know your facts. And whenever you are challenged and a question or a decision that you're making, and they see that you bring that confidence, this is what's gonna close the deal.
Okay, so let's talk about mindset for a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
so so this industry is brutal. I mean, it is intense, right?
Yep.
Building a successful real estate business will require a certain level of mindset.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what have you done, and or I'll ask it this way, okay? What did you have to shift
Yeah.
in regards to your mindset in order to get to the places you really wanted to be?
Yeah, that's a huge one because when I was starting, man, I was doing open houses. I was showing up on social media. I was doing everything I could as a lead generating right pillar, and I was getting no business. I remember my first, second, or third open house. I didn't get a single person that
Like
showed
walking
up.
in it, I know that's
And
so
I remember,
discouraging too.
I remember my wife was there with me, and she recorded a video of me just looking out the window, like hopeless.
That's so
It
funny.
was the funniest thing. But now, just looking back at that, I was building something. I just didn't see it right away.
Love
and,
that.
And I kept pushing through. There was a point where I was like on my third month of doing it full time, where I was like, "This is not gonna work for me." And I even downloaded Uber Eats to start doing Uber Eats to generate some sort
Wow.
of income.
Yeah.
But my breakthrough came that same week, and it was because I was being consistent. And it was a friend of mine who reached out. He was like, "Hey, I see your videos. I see what you're doing. Can we go look at some houses?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Let's go do it." It turned out to be 4 transactions out of just that one video that he saw.
Wow, that's crazy. You know, you said something that said, even though nothing was happening, I knew I was building something. Uh, we have a phrase here that we say, work always works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay? Work either works
Mm-hmm.
or it's working on you.
On you, yeah.
But work is always working. And so in this industry, it's so important that you have the mindset that either it works or it's working on your character, it's
Yeah.
working on your resilience, it's working on your excellence, you're improving what you're doing. Like, work is always working.
Yeah.
People have to put in the work for it to work.
Yeah.
So work either works
Always works.
or it works on
you.
you.
Yep.
I'm saying work a lot, you know?
Yeah.
But it's something that every agent really has to understand, that it's going to take so much work, so much of your effort in order
Yeah.
to build a real estate business in this industry. Okay, so let me help out, or let's help out a brand new agent.
Yes.
Okay,
Join Elite. Join Elite.
Join Elite, yeah, for real, do it. But look at this. Okay, so you're a brand new agent,
Yeah.
and you are so excited, and you're racing out of school with your license in hand, and all of a sudden you hit a brick wall. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. And that brick wall
real
says,
estate school taught me nothing, just how
Yeah.
not to end up in jail. Okay,
No kidding.
what do you say
Yeah.
to that agent? That I mean, honestly, it truly feels like you're out there in the jungle
Yeah.
and you don't know which way to go, what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say to that brand new real estate agent?
2 things. find a brokerage that's not just after your commission or your cap. Find a brokerage that's going to actually empower you and instill that confidence for you to build a business, right? It's important for you to surround yourself of a place that's willing to help you, because at the end of the day, you don't learn a lot of the stuff in school. You just learn the basics, and that's it.
Yeah.
And secondly, that other brick wall that you mentioned, it's probably marketing, right? Marketing yourself and how to market yourself.
Yeah.
And as you say here, right, and as you taught before, marketing is really telling a story and of who you are and how you can help others. I mean, I think that's the biggest one. If you're able to brand yourself, right, and market yourself, it's really going to set you apart from the other agents who are hiding or not doing as much as just showing up.
So true. I love that. Don't fall for the fluff trap. And what I mean by that is that people have to truly be in a place that really empowers them.
Yeah.
Number one, and two, that people are being trained by people that have actually done it before. So many are trained by people that understand theory.
Yeah. And when people get into real estate, and I've heard this a lot, like, oh, whenever I go to an interview with a brokerage, like, what should I prepare for? I'm like, no, you're not preparing for an interview. You're interviewing them.
Exactly.
So you need to really, prepare yourself, but to interview the brokerage and see what they can actually give you for you to bring your business to them. So ultimately, you really got to look up what's important for you, right? How they're going to help you. And ultimately, if it's a place where you see yourself maybe in the next 5 years.
Okay, so let's speak to the first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a belief that everyone needs home ownership. Okay, so how would you encourage someone that is a first-time home buyer?
Yeah.
And is lost and is kind of like, man, how do I buy a house? What do I do? What are the first 3 things a first-time home buyer needs to do?
Yeah, reach out to me.
Yeah, let's go.
No, but
I love that response.
In all seriousness, I think if you're ready to buy and you feel like you yourself, your family are ready to make that jump, right? In a market where you think it's not the right time due to the interest rates, I think there is an opportunity on either side, right? Right now, you have the leverage of negotiating a lot on the prices and seller concessions.
Yep.
Even new builds are offering buy down rates, right? So really getting informed, that's the biggest one. Getting informed, connecting with an agent that's going to inform you and can help you as an expert within the area that you're looking for. And the most important one is getting pre-approved, right? You don't want to go house shopping and really not knowing what you can afford, because ultimately you're going to fall in love with a house that you probably won't be able to afford, and that's important. So those are the things that I suggest.
Okay, so you said it's important that or if and when they feel ready. Okay, how does someone know they're ready?
Yeah, I think for everyone is different, but from my experience and what I've seen in my clients is you have a good credit, you have some money saved, right, for a down payment, and you're at a point in your life where you need to settle down, and you want to start building wealth. So I think ultimately a lot of people say that rent might be saving some money, but rent is really 100% interest rather than what is it that we have right now, the 5.9, 6.1%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What's crazy is this. I just read a statistic, okay, that says the average American rents for 12 years.
Yeah.
I believe it was 12 years. In those 12 years, the average American will pay over $350,000
That's insane.
dollars
That's a house.
in rent. Can you imagine that? Literally, they're paying off someone else's house.
Yeah.
It's wild how people get stuck in that renting cycle year after year after year. How can someone break the renting cycle?
How can someone break in? That's a good question, actually. I think with that statistic alone should bring some awareness onto
I
like
love that.
what you're really wasting your money. So if you are in that, and rent's going to continue to go up, right? We know that rents have gone up already, and they will continue to
much,
go up.
yeah.
So I think once you're, I guess going back to your question, how do I break out of that renting cycle? It's really breaking out of that mindset that you are
Come
going
on.
to be scared of
Yes.
and given into fear
So good.
that maybe you won't be able to afford your mortgage. You won't be able to afford your water bill or maintenance, right? Those are other things that you don't take into consideration when you're renting, right? But ultimately, if you rather pay 100% interest rate compared to building wealth and maybe leaving something behind for your kids or your family, right? It's just that switch that you need to make.
Okay. All right. We are going to wrap this up. Final question here. Okay. How has being a real estate agent changed your life?
It's crazy. I think I've been working a 9 to 5 for, I want to say, close to 4 years.
Only 4 years.
4 years, yes.
Okay.
And in those 4 years, I knew that I wasn't going to do that. Like, I used to tell my wife, I dislike my job. I want to quit. She's like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to do real estate. She's like, well, you're not generating anything from real estate, so why do you want to do it? So she used to challenge me, right? And I think once I took that leap of faith to go full time, that really like it just blew my mind of the fact of the opportunities that I have, right?
Yeah.
The many opportunities that come at me every time I am out there searching for business, and not only that, the flexibility on my schedule, the ability to provide for my family on a level that I haven't been able to before. But yeah, that's what real estate's done.
Okay.
For me.
What's your favorite thing about being an agent?
My favorite thing, it's gonna sound cliche, right? But I think helping families, that's the biggest one.
It's awesome.
Like once I'm able to help them through the buying process, not only that, negotiate them a good deal for them, and just seeing that excitement in them, like I'm finally gonna own a house. You're helping out in a transition, an important decision. That's the biggest one probably in their entire life.
For sure.
They're spending over $300,000 on a home, so having the ability to help in that is the most rewarding part of real estate.
It's amazing. Well, Fabian, thanks so much for spending some time here with me this afternoon. Man, I personally am so inspired by your success. You've crushed it this year.
Appreciate it, man.
And seeing your work ethic, I know you're just getting started, man. So
Thank you.
congrats on all your success. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.